Hello, on behalf of the University of Maine at Fort Kent, I would like to welcome you to our community town hall meeting. My name is Deb Hedin, and it is my pleasure to serve as UMFK's new president and provost. Fall semester begins on Monday, August 31st, and we have been busy preparing our campus safe return plan in collaboration with the University of Maine system. We are excited to share with you our campus procedures that will support faculty, staff, and students as they teach, work, and learn. Our goal is to slow the spread of COVID-19, and I am confident that you will be pleased with the thoughtful details developed in order to create these safe environments. We have a number of individuals who will share sections of the Safe Return Plan with you now. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leslie Kelly. I'm the UMFK COVID-19 Incident Commander. My role is to manage the activity and response to the COVID-19 incident for UMFK. Over the past 3 months, UMFK and the University of Maine system has been planning the fall safe return. Numerous staff have put in countless number of hours in preparation for safe return. In April, Chancellor Malloy launched the Fall 2020 Safe Return Planning Committee. The committee's membership included representation from all the campuses. UMFK's membership included Dr. Aaron Susi, Brian Schaefer, and myself. The committee has worked closely with state public health leaders and the UMass scientists to develop a safe return plan. The university's Science Advisory Board has been assessing the state of the disease, progress and potential in the terms of vaccines development and treatment, and operation protocols to reduce the spread of the disease. This group has been in close communication with the planning committee and the working groups. In addition, 2 groups around testing were formed to address the asymptomatic and symptomatic testing protocols. The asymptomatic group has been working solely on testing protocols for students as they arrive to campus. The students are asymptomatic. They're not showing symptoms. The symptomatic testing group has been working on developing the protocol for our students, staff, and faculty who have developed symptoms. Additional working groups included our logistics, communication, incident command, and president's groups. The work of all these groups has led us to developing a comprehensive plan to safely bring UMFK employees and students back to campus for the fall semester.
Hi, I'm Matt Moore, and I'm Dean of Students at UMFK. And I'm going to talk with you about, Leslie mentioned that we're doing some testing for our students. So she mentioned the asymptomatic group and the symptomatic group. And as she said, asymptomatic means that the students who are coming aren't showing any symptoms of COVID-19. The UMS system has decided that we're going to test all students who are living on campus. We're going to test all athletes, all students who are coming to University of Maine at Fort Kent from outside of Maine. So any out-of-state students or international students. And then there are some students in specific academic courses or internships who may need to get tested because of the requirements of that course. Let's say nursing students, for example, if they're going to be doing an internship in one of our local health facilities, they would need to be tested before they did that. So when we're going to be doing testing on 3 different dates. Our first test date will be August 18th. The second one will be August 28th, which will be also move-in day for our students who are moving into the residence halls. And then we'll do a final date on September 2nd to catch anybody who we may have missed. So the students will come and get tested, and they'll get tested. And then after they're tested, we're going to ask them to quarantine in their rooms in the residence halls until the results are received. So we know that we have students who are coming from elsewhere. We know that the safest thing for them to do is to come in, get tested, stay in their rooms together until they receive the results. And then once they receive the results, they'll be permitted to leave their rooms and live on campus. We are going to advise students who are living off campus to obey the quarantine requirement too, and to quarantine in the residences off campus. I think next, Leslie. the group that the university system main system has contracted with Convenient MD and Jackson Labs to administer and process the test. So they'll be doing that for us. And the good thing is that we are going to have the results within 48 to 72 hours, which means our students won't have to quarantine for too long after they are tested. We have another group of students too who may be symptomatic. So know that this would mean that they would have any of the COVID-19 symptoms that we know about. They may have a fever, chills, lose their sense of taste, any of those. So know that when students arrive, they're all going to receive kind of a care package that's going to include a list of all the COVID-19 symptoms in it, and information about what to do if they do experience those. They'll have a thermometer so that they can self-monitor their temperature. They'll have hand sanitizer. They'll have more than a few face coverings. And then what we're going to ask them to do is if they experience any of these symptoms, to let us know immediately if they live on campus so we can assist them, or to seek attention at Northern Maine Medical Center or their provider, health provider, if they do exhibit any of the symptoms. We are working with Northern Maine Medical Center here in Fort Kent to test any of our students who do have symptoms. And know that if we have students who are on campus who test positive, we do have isolation spaces for them to move into to keep them separate from everybody else. And students who are living on campus who've been in contact with anybody who tests positive will be quarantined on campus and tested again as well. So as soon as we have any incidents or students are feeling that they have the symptoms, we'll get them tested. If they do come back positive, we have contact tracing procedure in place to figure out who they've been in contact with. We will then identify those individuals and move them into quarantine and test them also. Oops.
Hi, everybody. My name is Javier Gonzalez. I go by Javi, and I'm the Director of Resident Site Leadership. I'm very fortunate to oversee our move-in day, which will be one of the first days, one of the other days that we will be hosting a testing. Our residents have been sent several times, and this will help us be able to mitigate and really control the flow of traffic, just really prioritizing safety in the best way possible. We're very fortunate that we're going to be having well over 160 students on our campus. As you can see, our demographics are looking really great, and we consider ourselves very fortunate, especially considering the circumstances. As I said, Friday, August 8th, will be host to our move-in, which is our annual event, and we're very fortunate and excited to be able to welcome a good group of students. Along that, as I mentioned, we have assigned different times. We're also working to provide some aid, specifically by allowing our residents to bring with them 2 volunteers. They could be family members, anyone. That way they are able to have at least some aspect of the traditional experience. I will mention though that after move-in is over, our guest policy will be in place where we won't be able to allow anyone from outside the community that is not a resident into our res halls. This is very important because we want to make sure that we prioritize safety above everything else. During the time that they will come and test, and then they will move in, they will also quarantine. I want to give definitely a shout out to Sodexo, who's been really great in working with us to ensure that they will be provided meals throughout this time. Our overall goal always in Res Life is to really provide a home away from home. In working with our different partners, we're able to, like Sodexo, we're able to try and provide the best experience that we can in this time, that things could be a little different, but nevertheless as comfortable as we can. So that's all that we have. And know that we're excited to welcome all our residents. On behalf of my team, I want to send a shout out to everybody that's on their way and wish safe travels. Looking forward to have everybody.
Hi, it's me, Matt Morin again, the Dean of Students. So as part of the University of Maine Systems Together for Maine plan, the Safe Return Plan, we were asked to come up with a way to get our students in our community to think about what it would mean for them to be a safe member of this community that we're at. And we started thinking about who are we at UMFK? And when we think about who we really are and who are we at our core, we really are a culture that really cares about each other. We care about UMFK, we care about the community that we're in. So what we came up with to help us to to reinforce this to our students and get them to remember all the different bits of information that we're going to be asking them to remember about how to protect themselves and each other during this time, we came up with the Bengal PROMISE. So essentially the Bengal PROMISE asks them to think about how they're going to protect themselves, how they're going to protect their peers, and how they're going to protect the community that they're in, both on campus and here in Fort Kent and in the county. Janet, next. So what we came up with was the Bengal PROMISE to try to get students to remember these things that we need them to do fairly easily. So we're going to ask them to practice good personal hygiene, wash their hands regularly, reduce group size. We are going to have some space limitations on campus about how many people can be in a certain space at one time. So we're going to ask them also to remain, 6 feet or 2 meters apart. We know that because of some of the changes that we're going to make on campus in terms of our schedules, in terms of flow patterns in the building, they may need to organize their schedule differently so that they can follow those practices that we have in place. So we're going to ask them to be a little bit flexible and be aware of what their schedule is like and work that extra time into it so that they can attend classes here on campus. As always, we're going to ask them to make sure they wear a face covering. We're going to ask them to isolate when needed. Technically, that should be quarantine, but for the Q doesn't work for PROMISE, so we're going to go with isolate. Essentially, if they have a high temperature, they're not feeling well, the symptoms that I talked about earlier when I spoke about testing, we're going to ask them to stay home and get the help that they may need. Social distance wherever possible, and then educate themselves and stay up to date on any news and practices and policies. So we've had 3 or 4 open houses with our students so far, meetings similar to this, where they've been able to ask questions, and we're encouraging them to make sure that they check their emails daily, if not more, and then any other social media and the website to make sure that they have the most current information from us about what's happening on campus for COVID-19. And so what we wanted to do then is make this even more simple and make it fun for students to remember too. So we thought about it again, who are we? And we're Bengals, right? And what do Bengals do? Bengals roar. So we're gonna take it down this quick. R, remember to wash your hands. O, 1 Benny apart. So we know that a Benny, our mascot, is about 6 feet or 2 meters. So if you can remember to stay 1 Benny apart away from everybody else, you should be good. A, always wear that face covering. We're never gonna get away from this. I'm going to be reminding people that all the time while they're here on campus. And R, remain at home if you're feeling ill. And we think that if we can get all of our students and all of our faculty and staff on campus to do these 4 simple things, it's really going to help to keep everyone safe. Our hope is too that this will spread out into the community and that our neighbors in Fort Kent and in the surrounding area will also roar. You're Bengals too, so please remember to wash your hands. Stay 1 Benny apart, wear your face covering, and stay at home if feeling ill. So I think the next slide is going to be our coveted roar mask. And the approach that we're taking here is we're going to try to catch our students doing it right. So when we see them that they are wearing a face covering or staying a few meters apart from each other, 1 Benny apart from each other, when we see them following the directional signs on campus and when they go and get the help that they need because they aren't feeling well, we're going to recognize them with one of these special roar masks. Again, we're going to catch them doing it right to try and reinforce that behavior that we want them to be exhibiting here on campus. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brian Schaefer. I'm the Director of Facility Management. My staff and I have worked pretty hard to improve the environment using the following controls we're going to talk about in a little bit. We've been a member of the Logistics and Facilities Management Working Group. The goal is to create a safe environment to provide an educational experience through engineering, administrative, and PPE controls. So I'm going to give you some examples instead of trying to explain them. It's nice and easy. As you can take a look, you can see that some of these plexiglass barriers, we have them in all the areas where we think that you're not going to be able to maintain a good, proper 6-foot distance, which is what we're trying to do. The whole goal is to stay 6 feet apart from each other and wear your mask. But when we can't, what can we do? So you do have engineering controls. You can even see an arrow on the bottom of the one, helping people to see which direction they're going. That's actually an administrative control, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. Next slide. We've got one van that we're fitting out right now, as you can see, with something that's going to keep it to where if somebody was sick and we were trying to transport them, or if we thought they might be sick, the best way to keep everybody safe is to keep them separated. So we're going to have one of these installed in one of our vans. Here's an example of administrative controls. Administrative controls are when we're not using a barrier, but we're actually thinking through what do we got to do to stay apart. So most places we're going to try to keep it as one-way traffic everywhere. But this one right here is a good example of what two-way traffic looks like. So you can see the sign that's up on the wall that says stay safe, stay to the right of the hallway. So as you're walking down a hallway, you'll see we have arrows to help you realize which side of the hallway we want you on. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but at the same time, let's just give you a little bit of help. Next slide. On our doorways, we're going to throw signage up to help you also think. Like this is an exit only, which tells you that we can't enter there. On the other side, you can see where you've got an entrance only, and we're reminding you, put on your face mask, stay home if you're sick. Just nice signage everywhere to help you think of what you should be doing. It's just to keep it in your mind. That's why it's administrative control. A couple other examples. You've got one right here of the before you enter into a bathroom. It's reminding you to wash your hands for 20 seconds. And of course, I know everybody remembers this, but at the same time, hey, sing happy birthday to yourself twice and you got the 20 seconds. The other one is a little bit closer shot of showing you what a door sign would be when you enter. And of course, in our rooms, you know, we used to have them nice and tight. We could put lots of people in. Now what we're doing is we're spacing them out. We're going to make sure that we can ensure that we got 6-foot spacing for the students and then 10 foot between the instructor and the students, because this way it tries to keep any kind of airflow from leaving one person's person and getting to another. And then lastly, we use PPE. And so what do I mean by PPE? Well, it's personal protective equipment, and things that we might not have normally thought of, it turns out to be very good for it, such as hand sanitizers. We have installed a slew of hand sanitizers. They're at all our entries, all of our big areas. If you want to sit down and make sure that your hands are clean, because you should be cleaning them regularly, go up to hand sanitizer and you can take a pump from that and be able to clean your hands and know that you're good. Improve disinfectants between classes, which means we're going to go into each one of the rooms after the students leave, and we're going to wipe down all the high touch areas, all of their desk areas and whatnot. We're going to actually have wipes inside the room so that if a student says, I just want to feel a little bit safer, they can grab themselves a wipe from the front of the class, they can wipe it down, kind of like what you see when you go into Hannaford's. You can see they do it for each one of the baskets. Okay, reusable and disposable face coverings. We have many of them for the staff and for the students, so that everybody has already had them issued as far as the staff, and as the students come on board, obviously we're going to have some for them to use also. And then of course we've totally increased our custodial supply allotments, so that way we're ensuring that, hey, if there is another tight time when we can't get supplies, like we had probably about 4 months ago, I'm sure you all realized that when you went into the store, it just wasn't the same way as it was. No, we've made sure we have plenty to hold us throughout the year. So we're looking pretty good in facilities. We think that we've made the working place a better environment by following these controls. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Carrie Watson-Blaisdell, and I'm going to talk to you about an educational piece we created for staff and students. A lot of the feedback we were getting was when everyone realized we were going to need to wear face coverings, that they weren't entirely comfortable either addressing someone or approaching someone, and that they just needed some guidance. And so that's what we've done here. Couple different scenarios. As Matt mentioned earlier, we really are a culture of caring on campus, in Fort Kent, and in the St. John Valley at large. So in that regard, we really felt that a lot of times it was just going to take sort of a little reminder or a nudge. Many of us who adhere to face covering sometimes forget it when we run into the store or whatever. So it's just kind of reminding them and then providing them with that support. So whether it's offering them one if they've forgotten it in their car, whatever the case may be, or sometimes addressing them on how to appropriately wear it. We've seen this in a few situations out in public and on campus as well, just, you know, hanging off the ear. Maybe they turn a corner, they didn't think someone was there. And so just reminding them, you know, got to keep it on and up. It's got to be tight fitting. So we created several incarnations of these. This is just to show a few. but they covered the most common situations we've noticed, and then we're soliciting feedback from campus as well on things they might be seeing and need help with. And so we'll just kind of, it'll evolve, and we'll keep putting them out there as needed.
Hi, everybody. My name is Matt Dyer. I'm the interim athletic director. 2 weeks ago, we announced that we have postponed all fall semester intercollegiate competition to the spring semester. This is in combination with our athletic governing body, the USCAA, also announcing the postponement of fall sport championships until the spring of 2021. What does this mean for us? First, we still plan on holding practices throughout the semester in compliance with Maine CDC guidelines to keep our student athletes engaged, growing as individuals and as a team. But we won't be playing any games or traveling as sports teams this fall. Second, our intention at this point is to have all 7 of our varsity athletic programs competing this coming spring semester, if it is safe to do so. This decision will not really boil down to a few things for us. First, the fact that school is now less than a month away, only 3 weeks away from starting, and there's still increasing COVID-19 cases throughout the world and US. Second, there's still challenges and concerns around social distancing. And third, in the past month or so, many Maine colleges and universities made the decision to cancel their fall seasons, which really limited our opportunity to compete against close opponents. Ultimately, we feel that this is the best decision to keep our campus and community as safe as possible, and it enables us to further focus our energy on a few things as we approach the start of the semester. Those things being the organization of a safe return and testing for our student athletes, putting appropriate procedures in place to run safe training sessions in compliance with CDC guidelines, and also creating innovative new ideas to provide growth and team cohesion opportunities to our student athletes. We're excited about the opportunity to work together as teams this fall, while at the same time remaining local to help best ensure the health and safety of our campus and town communities. In regards to the Sports Center, we intend to phase in a gradual reopening of the facility to our students and then faculty and staff over the next month. At this point, we do not plan to reopen the Sports Center to the general public until 2021. We really miss our community members, and we understand that this is a disappointment to many of you who frequent our gym. Ultimately, though, we feel it is the best decision at this time to best ensure the safety of our community as we transition students from places near and far back to our campus in the coming weeks. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Scott Wazin. I'm the Dean of Community Education. One of the many exciting programs in community education, as many of you know, is the St. John Valley Senior College that serves a population of senior citizens in our community. So, of course, when COVID first emerged in March, we were very concerned about our senior college population due to the fact that people of that age were more susceptible to the disease. So we immediately canceled all of our classes for health and safety purposes. So that was a little disappointing to all of us. And we were also very worried about what was going to happen in the fall. Well, have no fear. The senior college board, made up of about 15 exciting, amazing seniors in our community, got together this summer. They worked really hard, and they've regrouped and they've developed a roster of classes for the fall term that will be held using Zoom technology, or they will be recorded and aired on local access cable, including WFKT TV in the Forkin area and WOWL TV in Madawaska. So if you have friends or family, or if you're interested in checking out our senior college courses for the fall, they will be all free this year. We are not charging for membership because of the adjusted schedule. All of those courses were in the back page of the St. John Valley Times this week. You can also find the schedule at sjvsc.org, our website. And we will also be emailing the course schedule and posting it on a variety of social media pages to our membership. So if you're interested in senior college, we still have a lot for you this fall, and we look forward to serving our senior population in our community.
Hi. My name is Lucy Bollier. I am the Retail Service Supervisor. Students, faculty, and staff are allowed in the store. Community can shop via www.campusstore.umfk.edu. Zoom or FaceTime, please call us at 207-834-7500 during business hours, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for details. Curbside pickup is always available during store hours. Thank you.
Though the UMFK facilities will remain closed to the public through December, both the Acadian Archives and Blake Library are still offering services. So great news, many of the community use our requester function and it's turned back on. So from Blake Library, you can request materials from either URSIS or Main Cat libraries. When items arrive, we'll call you to set up a time for curbside pickup. If you need a hand locating an item, just call or email and we'll still be able to provide assistance. The Acadian Archives is still providing help with research in genealogy. Both Lise Pelletier and Aim Chamberlain are available to give you a hand. You can contact them again either through the website or phone. They'll be in touch shortly with you. So if you have research, genealogy, reach out to either the archives or the library.
Hi. I'm going to start with, we've got several questions to cover. I'm going to start with probably the easiest one, which is for Lucy. And it's, will UMFK face masks be available for sale for off-campus folks in the campus store?
Yes, we have disposable masks available, and we will also have the cloth ones also.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next question is, it's in reference to when we were talking about testing. And the question is, will UMFK staff also follow the same testing protocols? So Leslie, I believe that one's going to be for you.
If faculty and staff are returning from out of state, from certain locations that are not under civil guidance, testing would be available. They'll either quarantine for 14 days or they can be tested. They would quarantine until the results came back. And then hopefully they'd be negative and set to return to campus.
Okay, and Leslie, while I have you, these other two are going to be for you. Starting with, we are approaching cold and flu season. How will you distinguish the coronavirus from the common cold?
Great, so students, faculty, and staff will have access to a symptom monitoring application where they can daily enter how they're feeling. The app will actually allow them to enter their temperature. They'll be able to respond like if they have a cold, cough, shortness of breath, runny nose, fatigue, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, nausea, so any of the COVID symptoms. Based on how they respond, they'll be directed to call Northern Maine Medical Center. UMFK has a health clinic located on campus that is managed by Northern Maine Medical Center. If the student shows 2 or less symptoms, they'll be directed to the campus health clinic. If they have 2 or more symptoms, 3 or more really, they'll be scheduled to visit right there at the hospital at Northern Maine Medical Center.
Thank you. Next question. Does the university have a plan or any protocols in place to notify any community officials should an individual at the university test positive for coronavirus?
So we're modeling after Northern Maine Medical Center. A dashboard is being created that will actually display on the website that shows how many tests were conducted, how many were negative, and how many were positive.
Two more, one to Leslie, and then the other one after that will be for Brian. This one's similar, Leslie. It's from an employer in the community, and they are wondering if they will be notified in any way because they have some student interns, student workers, and they are wondering if they will be notified if either that student tests positive or if there's any way that they would be told, I guess.
Yeah, in following HIPAA and CDC guidance, it will be the responsibility of the student to speak with their employer about their testing results. So that's really, you could say it's going to be Northern Maine Medical Center that's going to have that data prior to the university even having that. So it'll be the responsibility of the student to tell the employer.
And last question, which is for Brian, is that we've heard about wastewater testing. Is this something the university will be doing?
Yes, actually, we already currently started it. So it's kind of neat. Thank you for asking the question. We have a trailer out on the side. You're going to see it was there if you would kind of walk through our area today. And you'll see they were actually pulling a draw. They're going to do it once a week. And then obviously they're going to let us know exactly what the numbers are. But at the moment, you know, I can tell you that it was already done once. It's finished for this week, and they're going to that's going to set up their baseline.
Fantastic. Thank you. I wasn't sure you'd be ready to answer that. Good job, Brian. Those are the questions I have that have been submitted through social media, email, and here through the Q&A function. I think on the next slide, Jana, my contact information is there. So if you are watching this afterwards on Channel 4 or on YouTube and you think of a question, please don't hesitate to email. We will send that right back as soon as we get your answer. If it's something we have to research, or if we already have the answer, we'll get it right back to you. And then we will make sure that we are posting it in a way that others can see, because odds are if you have the question, others do as well. So please reach out. We really appreciate your input. And that is all I have. I will turn it back to President Hedin.
I would like to thank all who have spent the last 4 months and countless hours preparing our Campus Safe Return Plan. As you can see from all of these presentations and sharing the slides and the information from our Campus Safe Return Plan, a lot of thinking and time and collaboration has gone into our work here in terms of, again, preparing for our returning students, and then also for many of our faculty and staff to return to campus. Throughout fall semester, faculty and staff will still be staggering their work shifts and their time on campus, again, so that we decrease the density of the flow on campus. And so that will be really important as well. I feel very fortunate to work with such dedicated faculty and staff at UMFK. I have been here for about a month and a half now, and it is just the best place to live and to work, and I am having a great time. Even though I haven't had the opportunity to meet still many of you just because of the situation we find ourselves in, I am spending time with people on the porch. It's called Porch Time with the President. And if you are someone who would like to, you know, come and visit me and meet me, and so I can meet you and learn about your work in this community and ideas you have for our campus, please, you could also reach out to Carrie and contact her, and we can arrange a time for us to spend some time together. We look forward to when we can be together on campus again. We can't wait to welcome the Fort Kent community back into our campus environment. But as we know, for fall semester, we will have to be monitoring that more closely and keep, most visitors won't be allowed on campus unless they have arranged times to be on campus. And we find that to be very unfortunate, but we're trying to keep our environment very safe. And I know that you will appreciate us doing that as well. So until then, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.